And welcome to West is Best. It has been a minute, but my boy Quinn is back with us. I am your host, Dan Wetstein. How's it been going, Quinn? Let the people know how you've been.
I've been good. I've been busy, but I'm glad to be back here, getting another episode out. It's been far too long.
Yes, most definitely. And I figured might as well come back with a bang. And we are going to be previewing every team in the NFL over the next 4 episodes as they come out. So today we are going to be focusing on, because the West is best, NFC and AFC West. So you know how we do. Let's go ahead and jump into these things. We're going to be going over each team, giving you a preview, what we think their biggest questions need to be answered, and giving you final predictions, division winners, all that good jazz. So first up, AFC West, and who most people give the nod to be the division winner. They're all just kind of throwing the praise at them, and it's kind of deservedly so, as much as it pains me as a Broncos fan to say so. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they've been the cream of the crop of the division for 6 straight years. People are saying it's going to be a 7th straight. Are they still the favorites to you?
No, but they should be. They still have Patrick Mahomes, and they still have great offensive weapons, and they still have Andy Reid as their head coach. So they've done nothing other than trade Tyreek Hill and lose Tyrann Mathieu to like dethrone themselves. But this division is so stacked that I think there are multiple other teams that contend for the division lead. And if I had to put money on it, I don't think I would put it on the Chiefs.
I like your synopsis there. And I love the fact that you're on my team. Like, I don't believe that they are the favorites either. I think that all the other teams have done enough to close the gap, to give them the respect they deserve, as much as you want to give the respect to Andy Reid, to Bieniemy, to Mahomes and company. But the thing is, like, the way you said that so nonchalant is like the only thing they did was get rid of an all-pro wide receiver and safety. That's it. That's all that they did.
Okay, sure. But sorry to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
Yeah, they lost Tyreek Hill, but they did add some pieces in Juju Smith-Schuster, and he's no Tyreek Hill, but I mean, it's not like they lost Travis Kelce and Mahomes as well. A good quarterback can make a receiver good, and it's hard for a good receiver to make a good quarterback good. So, I mean, you still have Patrick Mahomes on that team, and I don't think that he's going anywhere. They're going to be in the fight for this division the whole way. I just don't like. I wouldn't put them as my favorite to win.
Yeah, I wouldn't put them as my favorite. Like, again, but like, I think you're trying to hedge your bet a bit. Is that you're not trying to be disrespectful, but it's because of those moves that you just mentioned. The loss of Tyreek Hill. I don't think enough credit has been given to Tyreek Hill on how he makes this offense run. Everybody wants to talk about the no-look throw and the deep bomb pass from Mahomes, but they never talk about the guy on the receiving end, the one that makes those really questionable decisions look like money. The reason that the no-look pass worked, the reason that chuck across his body 60 yards down the field worked, was because it was going to Tyreek Hill. Juju Smith-Schuster's not making those catches. He's not making those guys miss. Neither is McCole Hardman. Neither is the Robinson kid or any of these other receivers, Sky Moore. Like, I like Sky Moore. I think he's going to be a really good slot receiver, but he is not Tyreek Hill. McCole Hardman is not Tyreek Hill. And with defenses no longer being terrified of the cheetah taking the top off of it, they're going to set down. They're going to key in on a Travis Kelce. They're going to say, if you're going to beat us, it's going to have to be a Juju Smith-Schuster who's proven that he's more interested in creating TikTok dances than TD dances.
Eh, I don't know about all that. Look, Juju has proven that he can be a good receiver at the NFL level, and if he's got a quarterback like Mahomes, then he's going to produce this year, and he's going to have to produce. Yeah, Tyreek Hill makes this team the favorite in the division. Without Tyreek Hill, that's why I'm saying that they're not. But at the same time, I don't think that they fall from the top of the division to the bottom. And I think they're still going to be in the race the entire season, and they're still a playoff team. Yeah, Tyreek can bail Mahomes out of some questionable decisions, but Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He's still a top 3, if not top 2 or 1 quarterback in the NFL. So you're right.
But haven't we already seen in Green Bay what that gets you when you don't have enough around you?
Yeah, we have. A team that consistently fights for a number 1 spot in the division, which is what I'm saying the Chiefs are going to do.
And never wins a championship.
Didn't say that the Chiefs are going to win a championship. I think we're on the same side here.
No. Yeah,
I think
we definitely are.
I think you're just a little bit overstating the need for Tyreek Hill in an offense that still has weapons.
Yeah, see, and that's what I'm saying is like, I don't think enough, just what you just did, I don't think enough respect has been given to Tyreek Hill. And I think that this year's going to expose some of those deficiencies that Tyreek was able to cover over with on that offense. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying they're going to take that step back and are no longer the favorite. Because of losing those 2 All-Pros. It wasn't just 1, it was 2, and their defense got way worse than they did last year. And their defense wasn't even that good to begin with.
Yeah, their defense has always been it's just kind of been Patrick Mahomes and the other 2 weapons on the offense that have kept them afloat. But I don't know. I don't see it as like time to panic and completely sell out the team and go into a full rebuild because you lose Tyreek Hill. I still think that team's going to compete for a long time as long as Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback.
I do believe that they will compete. I just don't think they're going to be competing for championships. And I guess we're both on the same page here. Is like, we don't think they're going to be competing at the top for like the number 1 seed every year, but they are still going to be in the conversation. As long as they have Mahomes, they will always be in the conversation. But unless they replace that number 1 wide receiver, because Cooper Kupp has shown, he just showed last year that wide receivers can take over a game and win you a championship. It's why Cooper Kupp got paid. It's why Davante Adams got paid after getting traded. It's why Tyreek Hill got paid after getting traded. It's why these wide receiver salaries are exploding, are because of what Cooper Kupp was able to do in the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
That's why Christian Kirk got paid.
Yes, it's why Christian Kirk got paid. Exactly. And I know we've been on this, but I don't think we'll ever get old. That Christian Kirk joke and the Jaguars. That contract is going to be one of the biggest albatrosses in the next couple of years.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Jacksonville saw something that we didn't, and Christian Kirk's going to be the next best receiver in the NFL.
It's possible. And Kirk is good. Like, I don't want to sit here and dog on Kirk like he's a bad receiver. He's good, but $20 million a year, no. I'm sorry. He does not deserve to be in the same breath as Davante Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, etc. Just doesn't need to be there. So I think we've also answered the second question here. You believe that the Kansas City is still going to be explosive. They might not be as explosive, but you still believe they're going to be at least somewhat explosive, still scoring a lot of points because of Mahomes and company. Me, I think they're going to take a major step back. I think Juju's regressing. Every single year he's got worse. And every single year he's got more into TikTok. So it just doesn't feel to me that that football is his number 1 priority. He might prove me wrong, but my hot take in this instance is that Josh Gordon will have more catches, yards, and touchdowns than Juju when all is said and done before the end of the year. And it won't be because of injury.
I think Juju's going to prove you wrong. And look, I'm not a huge fan of him or the TikTok dances and all of that stuff, but I think he's more talented than you're giving him credit for.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I'm not trying to say that he's not talented. I'm just saying he's not focused. I'm saying football is not his number 1 priority. That his number 1 priority is his followers on TikTok, and that the NFL is just nothing more than a avenue for him to bump up his followers. That's all that he sees football as. I'm not saying that he's not talented enough. I mean, the man has a 111 catch season on his record. That speaks to his talent. My problem is I just don't believe he loves football in the way you have to be great. He might be okay. He might be even good. I just don't see him being as good as he could be simply because he's just not focused enough.
I mean, I think this is a big prove it year for him.
Yes.
He has a really good quarterback. He's got everything working for him, so we'll see what happens. But I believe in him more than you do. But we'll see what happens.
I will concede that you definitely believe in him more than I do because I really don't have any belief in him whatsoever. So moving on from what is supposed to be the cream of the crop to the new darling, that is my Denver Broncos. I will put that bias out there. So Broncos have made a lot of changes, but the number one is at the QB position. Is Russ enough to close the gap with the Chiefs?
Yeah, he is, but at the same time, I feel like the rest of that offense really needs to prove it. This is one of those teams where you can kind of fantasize about how good they're going to be all you want, but until you see them out on the field and competing against the AFC West, you're not really going to know. Russ is an amazing quarterback, and he could lead any team. He led the Seahawks, who, without him, are pretty dang awful the last couple of years. But I think I think the rest of the offense needs to prove it. They've got enough talent. Obviously, the injury to fireball Tim Patrick hurts, but they've got talent. I just kind of want to see it out on the field before I say that they're going to dethrone anyone in this division.
I completely understand that. I am one of those people that pounds the table for giving credit to the champions. Like I still put the Los Angeles Rams as number one in my power rankings, and until they are dethroned, they are going to stay there for me, just simply because they are the defending champions. So I completely understand giving credit where credit is due. Chiefs have won the division again for 6 years in a row, so I completely understand wanting to see what they have. But my thing is, this team has won 7 games with the likes of Drew Lock, Brett Rippon, some dude with the last name Anderson that I can't even remember his first name. I think it was Brandon, maybe. Or no, my bad. Brandon Allen. I completely forgot his name. And he won a game for the Broncos. That's how much I do not care. So the fact that they were able to win 7 games with those quarterbacks with essentially the same roster. I know that's the thing that a lot of people are wanting to point. It's like, this is like the same roster that won 7 games. And so what is the difference going to be with Drew Lock? Well, it's exactly that. It's not Drew Lock. It's not Brett Rippon. They have an all-pro, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning quarterback under center now. They have a guy that is an escape artist. Unlike a Lock and Rippon and then that would just panic and chuck the ball up the first time that they saw a free rusher, Russ can get out of that situation, extend the play, and find the guy 20, 30 yards down the field, as opposed to just chucking it up and praying that it comes down in the hands of his receiver. So that is the difference. And this is a team that, again, I think a lot of people are forgetting, almost beat KC last year with Drew Lock at quarterback. Okay, think about that. They should have beat the Chiefs. The only reason that they lost was because Calvin Anderson decided not to block Melvin Ingram on a play, and he completely cleaned Melvin Gordon the moment he got the handoff at the 20-yard line, and then picked it up and ran it 80 yards down the field to score a touchdown, which was the difference in the game. They lost by 6 points on the fumble 6. So if that team can almost beat the Chiefs, that team with Russell Wilson and a couple of other guys, I don't know, Randy Gregory and that, can make the difference and close that 6-point gap and win at least 10 games.
I think they're a playoff team. Actually, I'm not convinced that they're a playoff team until I see them play. I definitely think that they have a great opportunity and they have the roster to make the playoffs, but I look at that entire division and it's a really, really good division. So yeah, they can win some games. They can beat some really good teams. I'm not saying that. Russ is a great quarterback, and he's going to make all the difference between Drew Lock coming from Drew Lock. But again, it's one of those teams I just want to see on the field against NFL competition before I crown them the new champion or crown them a playoff team even.
No, I completely get them having to earn the respect, especially for people on the outside. Me, I have a different perspective. This is the team that I follow everything they do. So I have a little bit different perspective and bias. I will admit that. So, yes, there are those things. But to me, I do not see anything less than a wild card berth because something that people are forgetting that, yes, this is a murderer's row of a division. The Broncos have the weakest schedule in this division due to their record over the last couple of years. So they have a lot more cupcake games than these other guys do. So if they can take advantage of this schedule, they can unseat the Chiefs. It's just a matter of winning those games they're supposed to win and then at least splitting the other games that like in the division and things of that nature that they might not be expected to win. So
I would have liked them to have traded Melvin Gordon, frankly, because I hate Melvin Gordon.
they just should have never re-signed him. Like that's the thing is they didn't have to do anything. He was a free agent. They re-signed him. I hate it.
I hate Melvin Gordon. It's like a personal fantasy football bias. It's come from multiple years of trusting Melvin Gordon, and then last year trusting Javonte Williams, and then having it come back and bite me. But I think anyone in my fantasy football league will let you know how much I hate him.
At least you didn't trust Noah Fant last year. I did. It hurt me right here. And anyways, so again, this might be a little biased me asking this question, but could this possibly be the remake of the Legion of Boom and the Russ and Beast Mode combo that got the Seahawks their only Super Bowl?
No, and that's a laughable question. You're talking the remake of the best defense of our generation?
Second best, but anyways, go ahead.
Okay, what's the best? Are you talking about the Broncos defense?
2015 Broncos.
No.
2015 Broncos.
No, the Legion of Boom Seahawks was the best defense that we've ever seen.
We'll have that debate later, but anyways, go ahead.
So no. Can they be a really good defense with a good offense and good weapons? Yeah, but I'm sorry, who's your beast mode? Who's your Marshawn Lynch?
Javonte Williams.
If they give him the ball?
Oh, they will. Trust me. I got an insider. I've been talking to him. Javonte has played with nothing but the ones this entire offseason. Yes, Melvin's going to snipe a couple times. I would not say make Javonte Williams your number one running back in fantasy. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that he is going to get the rock and he is going to get it a lot, and they are going to throw him the ball a whole lot more often. So
look, it's a good team. I'm not going to go as far as to say that they're the 2013 Seahawks, especially
now I should say, is this when I say the remake? I said I should reword that. The re-imaging. Like, no, I'm not saying player for player, but when I look at this roster, I can't help but get excited with Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson at safety, with Ronald Darby, who's way underrated, plus PS2, who is an absolute beast, and Kwan Williams, who they went and stole from the 49ers. That defensive line is going to be insane. With DJ Jones, Draymond Jones, and Deshaun Williams, plus their backups that they have are insane. Like, the only thing that worries me is the middle linebacker position, but I got some hope today when Roquan Smith asked for a trade. I'm praying that they fill it with him. I think that would be the final piece. That would be the Bobby Wagner of this defense since we're going LOB. So that would just be the final piece that would make this defense unbelievable. Because again, remember, this defense made Patrick Mahomes look bad twice. And half of Patrick Mahomes' interceptions last year came in the 2 games against the Broncos. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know I'm biased. I know I got orange and blue colored glasses on most of the time, but I can't help it. There is just so much here that is to be excited about. Like, am I wrong for getting excited from the outside? Like, am I being too ridiculous with this? But to me, it just seems like it's just that good.
You're not wrong to be excited. It's a good roster. It's the best roster the Broncos have had, and I mean, I would say
at least 7 years.
Yeah,
at least 7 years.
Absolutely, you should be excited by it. But to go as far and say that they can be the remake of the Legion of Boom, I don't know. Until I see it, I'm going to say no.
I mean, definitely I could see where you would see the hyperbole, but just to me, from the inside, from my again orange and blue colored glasses, that's what I see. That's what has me excited. It's not just Russ. Like there's so many people that just pin it on Russ. This defense, again, is almost the same as last year, but it's better. They have more depth on the edge. Baron Browning is going to be a revelation moving from middle linebacker to outside linebacker. His bend is ridiculous. Him and Nick Benito both remind me of Von Miller when it comes to bend and get off. No, I am not saying that they are the same. I am saying they have some similar traits. Their first step quickness and their bend around the edge is insane. I have not, again, seen that since Vaughn when it comes to speed off the edge. It's absolutely disgusting, and they're backups.
No, I mean, I get why you're saying all of this. It's a really good roster. You're going to see when we talk about the NFC South, my opinions on the Saints. They're probably far more
They're going to be rosy. They're going to be gold. They're going to be golden. We'll put it that way.
I mean, sneak peek, I've got an MVP prediction already, and it's...
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm gonna say it. The initials are AK.
Oh, no. JW.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Now
we'll talk about it.
We're going to talk about that. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun conversation. All right. So we're both on the agreement that the Broncos will take a step. You're obviously a little bit more hesitant than me.
They're going to take a step forward. No. I want it clear. They're going to take a step forward. They're going to contend for a playoff spot. It's a very good team. It's far better than they've had in years past. I just want to bring some perspective and pump the brakes a little bit on the hype.
Yeah, you're on the floor. I'm on the ceiling. That's what it is. You're on the floor, which is like about a 10-7 record, squeaking into the playoffs, the wild card player. Me, I'm on the ceiling. I'm saying more than 10 wins, and we'll get into that here shortly. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers, who just tend to seem to charge and do Chargerish things. But could Herbert become the best quarterback in this division this season?
I mean, he could, but Patrick Mahomes is in this division. Herbert's an incredibly talented quarterback, and he's going to have a great year, and he's probably going to take another step forward, and the Chargers are going to Charger. But I don't know. I would say no, he's not going to be the best quarterback in the division, but it's not out of the question. And it sounds like I'm kind of like giving a politician's answer, but Mahomes is
that's kind of what you got to do with the Chargers, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny that you brought that up because in my notes for this, in response to your question, the second question I wrote, yeah, but it's the Chargers, ... So,
yes.
I mean,
that's the caveat. Yeah, you can't speak in absolutes when it comes to the Chargers. I get it.
Look, he's a very talented quarterback, but again, Mahomes is in this division, and until he just completely falls off, I'm not going to say that anyone's better than him.
Yeah, I mean, again, Broncos fan here is about to say this. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the game, period. There's really no debate to be had there. Can Herbert overtake him? Yes. He has all of the physical tools in the world. He has all kinds of toys to play with on the outside, in the backfield. Got a good offensive line now. Defense is insane. But again, Charger's going to Charger. You can't speak in absolutes with this team. It's just, you can't until they do it. You just can't say it. So, yeah.
I think this can be a pretty quick recap of the Chargers.
Yeah,
they're the best team on paper in the division.
They are the paper
but
champs.
It's the Chargers.
Yeah. So, real quick, second question. Yeah, there you go. Are they the most stacked roster? Yes, they are. Will they do anything with it? That's the $1 million question. And we're not going to answer it because there is no answer at this point. So, moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders. Can McDaniels shake the debacles in Denver and Indy? And was the Hall of Fame game any indication?
I don't pay any attention to the Hall of Fame game or, frankly, preseason for that matter. It's going to be a good team. McDaniels is a good coach. I think so. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like the same as the Chargers. It's like, do you like the Raiders just find a way to Raider? They can have all the excitement in the world. They have a brand new head coach. It's the same thing that happened with Gruden. We all know what happened with Gruden. So can McDaniels have success? Yeah. Will he have early success? Probably. This team is very good. I want to see what happens at the end of the season.
Yeah. Will he have early success? He went 6-0 in his first 6 games as a Broncos head coach. And then he won 4 games for the remaining 2.5 years after that. The last win he had before they went on the losing streaks that got him fired was against Bill Belichick. That was the game where he beat Belichick in Denver and then went fist pumping his way down the field because he beat his mentor. That was the last moment of happiness in Denver that we got to experience until Peyton Manning came to town. I remember those days so painfully. Oh my goodness. Kyle Orton over Jay Cutler. So many bad mistakes and bad decisions. McDaniels has shown, at least in the media, that he's changed. Like when he was with the Broncos, he was a douche. Like he was the worst person. He was worse than Bill Belichick when it came to dealing with the media and that. So number one thing is he's definitely turned that around. He's became much more likable. I think maybe he's learned from not only his mistakes, but the mistakes of all the other Patriots coaches that have went on and absolutely fell on their faces, that you got to be yourself. You can't go out and be Bill Belichick. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to work. There's only one of him. So go out, be yourself. So he's made that improvement. Now, does that mean he's made it better decisions on the field? We'll have to see. As far as the Hall of Fame game, yes, they won 27-11 and they made the Jaguars look bad. But again, it's the Jaguars and they are bad. And the Raiders had starters on the field and the Jaguars didn't. So as much as people want to make, the Raiders fans want to make such a big deal about they were able to beat the Jaguars in the preseason, again, let's remember it took your starters to beat their backups. So let's keep that in perspective. So no, the Hall of Fame game means nothing. Preseason games mean nothing. He can go undefeated in all 4 games, being the only team that wins 4 preseason games this year. It means nothing. Raiders Nation, calm down, because, and this is why I asked the second question, did they do enough on defense?
So what's funny is that when I was first reading it, I thought you said offense, and so I just wrote down they got Davante Adams. But
right?
Now that I see
that would have been a dumb question. Yes.
But now that I see that it says defense, I think my answer is the same. They got Davante Adams.
They're gonna have to outscore everybody. Yes.
Yeah, I mean their defense isn't great. They've got some good players on their defense. I mean Max Crosby's great.
Very good, yes.
But at the same time, I look more towards this team's offense than their defense. I mean, I don't think they did much on defense at all, if I'm not mistaken.
Outside of Chris Jones or Chandler Jones, my bad, Chandler Jones.
I mean, that's a really good compliment to Max Crosby, who's a budding superstar at the defensive end position. Chandler Jones had a great year, a career year, even though he'd had a good career up to that. But
yeah, 5 sacks in a game, stupid.
Yeah, so
at 33, I think he is now.
Their pass rush will be great. Trayvon Mullen's a decent corner. Jonathan Abram, when he doesn't shatter his shoulder on a hard hit, is pretty good at being a safety.
Usually by missing the target.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's so bad with him. Because every time he gets hurt, it's like he's going in as a missile at somebody, misses them, and then hits something on the sideline and shatters something.
He's like, so talented, though.
He really is. He's scared. He just scares the bejesus out of you. He's one of the few safeties in the game today that you're just terrified of because he doesn't care. He plays with a reckless abandon, and his body means nothing to him. It's insane.
Yeah, but no, they didn't do much on defense other than Chandler Jones. Really good pickup. They're going to need him, but I mean, that's not where when you talk about the Raiders this year, you want to see how good that offense is going to be. Like Derek Carr is a good quarterback. He's probably been the one like consistent factor in the Raiders' whole organization ever since he got drafted. So you had him with his best friend receiver, Davante Adams, the best receiver in all of football. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good offense, and they're going to have to outscore people in this division with these great rosters. I think that they're third place at best.
At best. Yeah, I think, spoiler alert, Raiders Nation, you're going to have a long year. Like, you made some improvements, but I think them getting to the playoffs last year really pumped up some heads to really over exaggerate what this team is. Because, like you said, Chandler Jones, good pickup, but it was a pretty much even swap because they lost Yannick Ngakoue, who led the team in sacks last year. Now, I will heap some praise on the Raiders. I know it's weird to come out of my mouth, but Derek Carr did only come up a couple hundred yards short of a 5,000 yard season. He had a really good year last year.
And now he gets the best receiver in all of football.
Yeah, now, and his best friend from college. A lot of people are like, oh, he's got to, get comfortable. Like, no, bro, these dudes known each other since day one. Like, they don't need much time. They just need a little refresh.
It's such a good offense that I kind of want to walk back my statement saying third place at best. They could surprise people.
But I think they're going to have a lot of 45, 42 losses, like some stupid numbers like that.
I don't think their defense is that bad.
Losses.
Their defense is not on the level of the Broncos or the
other three. Really, I guess maybe
I think it's better than the Chiefs.
Maybe, yeah, a little bit better, yeah.
And their offense, at least personnel-wise, is on par with the Chiefs. And that quarterback, there's a huge disparity. But
yeah,
if you also look at wide receiver, there's a huge disparity for the Raiders. So
and running back, because I mean, honestly, Josh Jacobs over Clyde Edwards-Helaire all day.
Unless they trade him, doesn't sound like they're going to though.
Right now,
but I don't know. I think I have them at third place. A spoiler for a little bit of a preview of what we're going to do at the end of this, but
we're close enough.
If they second or even win the division, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to bet on the Raiders because
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing with the Raiders is like they could be the worst team in the division, or they could somehow magically be in first place.
This division is such a tough one to start out with because I have no clue at all. Like, it's just such a shot in the dark because every team is so different from last year, and half of the teams have like horrifying histories of just completely choking their lives away, and then it's just
but
such.
Isn't that what makes the West best?
It's
the most drama, the most
agree.
Injury.
I just have no clue what to think about this division at all, and
it's hard.
Like, I'm gonna give my standing predictions, but I don't know.
All right, so go ahead. I think we're at the point where we can go ahead and give your predictions now for the AFC West and where each team's going to lead, their record, division winner, all that.
I think I'm actually going to change this. I just said Raiders are third, but I don't know how I can. Okay, I have the Chargers winning the division. I have the Broncos in second, Chiefs in third, Raiders in fourth, and I'm not confident about any of it.
Okay. All right. So what is the record of the Chiefs? I won't make you give me the record of everybody else. What you got the records of the Chiefs is the division winner.
I didn't say the Chiefs. I said the Chargers.
Oh, you had I am sorry. I must have misheard. I apologize. The Chargers record for winning the division. And the Chiefs all the way in third. They win 12 games. Okay. So we at least have the winner of the division winning the same amount of games. We both have them at 12-5. I do have the Broncos, but I know it sounds as biased, but I'm going to give a breakdown of why. Again, I mentioned it earlier. I gave a little foreshadowing. I told y'all the Broncos have the weakest record in this division, and I don't have them just like sweeping the division. I have them at 12-5 with the Chiefs just behind them, a game behind at 11-6. And then I have the Chargers at 9-8 and the Raiders at 7-10. And the biggest differences are going to be to me, is that the Chargers again have a stronger record, so they're going to lose a couple of games that the Broncos won't. Like, I do believe that Indy matches up very well with the Chiefs, so I think that Indy beats the Chiefs, but I think the Broncos beat Indy because their defense is able to shut down Matt Ryan, unlike the way that the Chiefs are not able to do. with Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor. So it's those things I think are going to be the difference. I think it's going to be neck and neck. The way I have it is like they're actually tied for the division lead going into week 17. And then a Broncos beating KC at home. And then Denver beating the Raiders in week 18. Or I'm sorry, the Chargers in week 18 are what give them the division win. So it's not like I'm just sitting here and like the Broncos are going to blow everybody out and they're going to win the division by 4 games. I have them winning it by only 1 game. And again, because they have the weaker schedule.
No, that's fair. Again, I'm not confident with my prediction of this division. It could, the funniest thing
these
about
could
it,
all be blown up.
This is the only division in football, I think, that like my 4th place team could very well end up being the division winner. And like,
Yes.
I don't know. I'm excited. This is going to be a really fun division to watch.
It really is. Yeah. And I agree. Like I have the Raiders at 7-10, but they could just as easily be the team that's 12-5 and wins the division. That's the beauty of this division. And I think that's another thing is I think this division is going to eat itself up a bit, but with the Broncos and Chiefs coming out with a better division record than the Chargers and Raiders. And that's what's going to make the difference and set these teams in the tiers that they're in.
Yeah. It's funny. Like you even convinced me to put the Broncos, I put them at 3rd, right? I had them at 4th in my initial standings, but like you convinced me, and it's like again, I just don't know. I really don't.
It's gonna be what happens when they get on the field, and if everything.
And injuries.
There's a lot of new. Yeah, injuries are a big thing. I mean, you've already seen it in Denver. We've lost Tim Patrick, the number 2 wide receiver, and we lost our. I mean, yes, he was our number 4 running back, but running backs are necessary, especially depth in the NFL, because the NFL is 100% injury risk. You got to have their backup. So, and they're both out for the year. They both tore their ACL in like, I think the 3rd practice. So injuries are legit, and we still got a long way to go before game 1 of the NFL season. So that all these things could change, especially with injury, but it doesn't even have to be injury. It could just be who gels better. There's so much new, like you said, in Denver. New head coach, new owner, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new quarterback, and all but the quarterback are first timers at doing their jobs. So there's so much new that could change. In KC, you have all these new players at all different positions. The Las Vegas, Los Angeles, all the same thing. There's so much new everywhere. It's going to be whoever gets to gel best during the preseason and gets that get off at the beginning of the season, those first 4 or 5 games that are going to determine who wins this division. Whoever gets off to the best start in September is going to be the team that's going to be best positioned to win that division as we get into December.
I mean, yeah. And also, the Raiders have a better shot if Hunter Renfrow doesn't book Ubers anymore.
Nice shot. On that note, Ubering on over to the NFC West. We're going to go ahead and move on over to the Los Angeles Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions. How crucial is Matt Stafford's tendon status to the status of this team?
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I see conflicting reports over his status. He says it's just sore. Cooper Kupp doesn't seem worried, but Bleacher Report does. So, Bleacher Report's clearly the expert here. I would say I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I'm concerned because if they're without Stafford for a little while, it's definitely going to hurt them. This division isn't nearly as strong as it was last year. No. But this team is still good. Like, I don't know. If Matt Stafford misses a lot of time, it's concerning, of course. But I don't know. I really don't know the severity of this injury. It's never a good sign when there are conflicting reports, but
never. Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you. It depends on the severity and who's right. We don't know. Like I said,
it also it's one of those
might
things,
be the expert.
It's one of those things where it's like, if it's sounding like an injury that could just linger throughout the year, like maybe he won't miss an extended period of time, but a game here and there, get removed from a game, come back, just not be as sharp as he wants to be. And you know what I'm talking about? Like one of those injuries, like just a lingering nagging injury, as opposed to something that keeps him out for 6 weeks and he comes back and he's perfect. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
This is still the best roster in the division.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When it comes from 1 to 53, definitely by far the best roster in the division. And that's it. It's like we don't know exactly how severe it is. If it is severe and he does miss extended periods of time, it's going to mean everything to these Rams because they will go as Matt Stafford goes. He proved that last year, even when he was on the field and 100% healthy. When he played bad, that team played bad. When he played good, the team played good. So just as with any other team that has a good quarterback, you go the way of your quarterback. And if they're injured and they can't give you 100%, it's going to hurt your team. And my worry is that there is conflicting reports that the team has allowed this to get so convoluted. Maybe it's some gamesmanship by Sean McVay and he's messing with people's head and he's going to, when week 1 hit, Matt Stafford's going to go out there and rip a 70-yard throw off of his back foot like he used to, and everybody's going to shut up. Or it might be that it is jacked up and we see him out there and he's looking like Peyton Manning in 2015 with nothing but a noodle for an arm. We don't know until we see him on the field. So that does worry me that they're not out in front of this. They're not making it absolutely clear one way or the other. They're letting it be murky. That's what worries me.
Sean McVay does that, though. He always has. He's like Kyle Shanahan in that regard.
Yes. And Mike Shanahan before him. That's where Kyle gets it from. Mike Shanahan was so paranoid that there was a office building across the street from the old practice facility in Greeley, and that he thought that somebody from the Raiders rented out that office every training camp. So he built a wall to make sure that office building couldn't see the practice field. That's how paranoid Mike Shanahan was. So it's a natural thing for coaches. Every coach has it. It's just a matter of what level they're at. And McVay is definitely up there. He loves that gamesmanship. So, I mean, he might be, but if he's not, can the Rams stay afloat if Matt misses an extended period of time?
What do you mean by that? Like, can they be the number 1 team in the division, or can they stay within striking distance for a playoff spot?
Within striking distance. That's what I mean by afloat.
Yeah.
Like, just so that, like, within striking distance, that way when Matt comes back, they can get back to where they should be.
Yes, I think they can.
Okay. So
their roster is good enough up and down that they can.
Yeah, I think the defense especially could really pick it up. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is, but I don't think it really matters. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think it matters who it is. With McVay calling the shots and that defense, they could definitely stay afloat with that modicum of an explanation. So moving on from the class of the division to the biggest enigma, I would say, of this division, the San Francisco 49ers. Can they make the playoffs with Trey Lance?
Yeah, I think they can. Okay, so some context here. One of my best friends is a huge Niners fan, and he's one of those friends that just talks as if you're also a Niners fan. Gotcha. So I've heard so much about this roster and so much about Trey Lance, and everything I'm hearing is that he looks great. And this is his team, and everyone's kind of buying into this. The thing with the Niners is always going to be injuries, because I feel like that is one of the more injury-plagued teams in the NFL. I think Trey Lance is going to look really good this year. I would put money on them making the playoffs.
Yes, I agree. I would put money on them making the playoffs. I loved Trey Lance coming out, and I was one of the very few, if not the only person that called Trey Lance going to San Francisco the moment that trade was made. You don't move up unless you're going for a quarterback, and Trey Lance made perfect sense in this Kyle Shanahan offense. I really, really like Trey, and I think he is going to be that next big thing at quarterback. The athleticism, the arm, he reminds me of Russell Wilson, but with an even stronger arm. As much as that is hard to believe, that's who I see Trey Lance as being, and I think that's what Kyle Shanahan saw when he traded up for him, is that he saw that winner. The guy was undefeated in college. I think he lost one game in high school, so he's obviously a winner. He knows how to take small schools. North Dakota State people, like, the man went undefeated in there. I know that sounds like it's not a big thing, but it is. They are the powerhouse of that division. and he made them even better. And nobody knew who they were until people started talking about Trey Lance. Unless you were really into college football, you didn't know who the Bisons were. So he put them on the map, and now he's going to bring the Niners back to prominence. And he's going to, I think, be the class of the division at quarterback. I think he will be better than Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Matt Stafford. But no, I mean, I do think he's going to be the next like hot quarterback in the league. Like everyone's going to be following Trey Lance because he's going to have a lot of these highlight plays. His athleticism is great. And yeah, I mean, I think this Niners team is going to surprise a lot of people. And people don't talk about their defense as much, which brings us to your second point.
Yes, the second point being that will this defense take a step back after losing some of the pieces they did this offseason? I already talked about a couple of them being DJ Jones and Kwan Williams just in Denver alone.
I don't really think so because I think like the core of that defense is still there. I don't think it's an elite defense. I really don't. I think, I don't know. Would I put them top 10? Probably. Top 5? Definitely not. I love that linebacking core. It's great. Fred Warner is one of the best ball hawking middle linebackers out there. I don't know if they take a step back. I think this defense is going to be just good enough to not lose the Niners games and win 1 or 2, if that makes sense.
Yes. No, I completely get what you're saying. I think you have them rated perfectly. I think they are a 5 to 10, and that is a step back. They were a top 5 defense last year. So that's where I'm getting at. It's like, yes, it'll be a step back, but only a step. Because yes, they lost some big pieces, but I think San Francisco should be using the mantra we had here in Denver for a while is in John we trust. Like John Lynch, I think, has proven over the years that he knows what he is doing. He is not just some dumb safety, that the man earned his degree at Stanford and that he knows a little bit about football, and he has stacked this roster, and it's maybe not the best roster in the division, but it's at least the second best roster, and it's one of the more balanced rosters. It has a potentially top 10 defense and offense if Trey Lance and Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell can reproduce some of the magic that happened last year when Trey Lance made it on the field.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's going to be interesting is the whole how they utilize Deebo because, his new contract, if they give him one rush, they have to give him an all expenses paid trip to Cabo or whatever it is, right? It was a joke. You're supposed to laugh. Anyway.
Sorry. It didn't quite hit that way real quick. I had a delayed reaction. I was getting there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting just how they utilize this offense. But, yeah, I would say they make the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I think they do as well. So moving on from the Niners, going a little bit farther south to the Arizona Cardinals. Murray got the bag. Can he get over the hump and finally win a playoff game?
No. Oh,
you're way too much alike today. No, you're good. I'm the same way. I asked the question. I was hoping you could elaborate, but yeah, same here. I
don't think they make the playoffs. That's why. I mean, I think Kyler Murray's a great quarterback. I think he's going to have another great year. They're without DeAndre Hopkins for 6 games. Their defense is mediocre.
At best.
So, no. I mean, I think Kyler Murray will eventually win a playoff game.
Yes.
I think he's a very talented quarterback. I hate using him in Madden because he can't throw over the offensive line, but
isn't it annoying? The dumbest thing ever. Like he doesn't really get batted balls. Like he's not. I think he's like in the middle of the pack when it comes to batted balls. But yeah, on Madden, you can't stand in the pocket with the kid. It's dumb.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's not a team that excites me. I think Cardinals fans got really excited last year when they got off to that hot start and they were the number 1
team. Like 6-1 or something. Yeah.
I think they were weren't they undefeated for a little while?
Yeah, they were undefeated for a minute.
Until AJ Green decided to not catch a game-winning touchdown. Regardless, this team it's just like
the Chargers.
It's just no, I wouldn't say that. I just think it's because the Chargers are an exciting team. And as I mentioned earlier, I had the Chargers winning the division.
Yeah.
The Cardinals just don't.
I meant like the Chargers doing Chargery things. Like the Cardinals kind of do that same thing.
the Cardinals don't excite me.
Yeah,
I'm not excited by their roster. Their quarterback is good. James Conner's formidable. D-Hop is, when he comes back, he'll be one of the best receivers in the league again. But like, that defense is just not good. There's nothing else that excites me. I don't know. I don't think there's much more to say on the Cardinals. I think they're a third place team.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to ask the other question: is the defense solid enough to complement the offense? But I think we've already answered it. It's not.
No,
it's really not. Like you said, there's nothing there that excites you. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, is Patrick Peterson even on that defense anymore?
No, he was on the Vikings last year.
Okay, so yeah, I don't even know anybody that's on that defense anymore after Chandler
J.J. Watt,
left.
Isaiah
Oh
Simmons.
yeah, I forgot he is still under contract. Okay, and that I completely forgot Isaiah Simmons was even drafted. That's how little he's done.
Yeah, but he's a beast.
He is a physical freak. I love him. I was hoping to see him in Denver. I was really wanting to see a Justin Simmons, Isaiah Simmons pairing. I think that would have been insane to watch, that size and the speed out there. But I digress. It didn't happen, and he's wasting away on the Cardinals. But yeah, we both agree. Cardinals they aren't exciting, and so they're not exciting to talk about. We're going to move on to the Seattle Seahawks. I know a lot of people are going to assume that I'm just going to always talk about Drew Lock, and yeah, well, can Drew Lock win the QB job and flourish?
My response to this in my notes was, quote, LOL, no.
I knew it, but I had to ask the question because I had to get your reaction on camera.
Look, he hasn't even been taking the reps with the first team yet. Geno Smith has. Imagine losing a job to Geno Smith at this point in his career.
In the scrimmage game, he was with the ones.
When?
In their scrimmage game this past weekend.
Okay, all the reports that I've seen have said that Geno Smith has been the one taking the starter reps.
During practices, yes, but in the scrimmage, actually Drew Lock made it out there with the ones for
him.
The last half. Yeah, but I'm saying, but no.
Here's the thing with that team is both quarterbacks are going to start games because both quarterbacks are going to be terrible, and they're going to have to figure out something and change something because that's what the bad teams in the NFL do. Drew Lock is a talented quarterback. Von Miller loves his balls. Sorry, his ball flight.
Yes.
But I don't know.
But Von Miller liked every quarterback's balls.
Yeah, we've talked about this, but it's just like he's not good. And they're in full rebuild mode, and he'll have some good-looking plays because he can throw the ball well, and DK Metcalf is on that team, but
yeah. Oh. I'm hoping that this is the last time that I have to talk about Drew Lock until week 1 of the season, and then after that, never again. But
damn,
I believe that Drew Lock is a great quarterback? No. Do I also believe that Denver hampered him and his development with bad head coach, bad offensive coordinator? Yes, I do. I do believe two things can be true at the same time. And I am rooting for Drew Lock. I think that he could, if put in the right situation with the right personnel, be a good quarterback in the NFL. Problem is he's not there. Seattle is not it. That roster, though, outside of Lockett and Metcalf, really who is there on that roster? Offensively or defensively? I'll give you both. I'll give you 22 guys. I'll just take away two of them. You tell me who else is great on that team. There's none. There's not even any good. I mean, barely good. Like, I wouldn't even say he's really good. Like, I mean, he's serviceable. Like, he's an average running back. I don't think Rashad Penny's that great. I don't think he was worth a first-round pick when he was drafted either. Like, I did not think he was that great. So,
I think we can kind of jump ahead to our standings and both agree that the Seahawks are the worst in the division.
Yes, definitely. We both have the Seahawks dead last. I have them as a record of 6-11.
That's nice. Bad. That's nice of you.
I mean, I gave them a couple of wins because they always seem to sneak out a weird win at home. Like, I have them beating KC at home simply because that's just what the Seahawks do. Even when they're bad, they just tend to have a weird win at home. Like, that's the reason they got to 6
with
wins.
Russ usually.
Yeah, with Russ, but even before Russ. Like, I have a different.
Look, I'm fully aware of that.
When they were in the AFC West.
I'm fully aware that I remember the Beastquake. All right, but I don't know. I think 6 wins is generous. But yeah, I've got.
I think I am being generous, but again, that's just me going off again my own personal feelings. They just seem to have, like I said, I gave them a win with KC coming to Seattle simply because it feels like that's something they would do at the end of the year. KC would overlook them, and essentially their stadium would give them a win because their stadium is good for at least one win a year for them. At least one win a year, the 12th man wins for them, and I think it's KC this year.
You don't think the 12th man's going to take a hit when there's nobody to put fans in the seats?
I mean, I don't think so because of just how just deeply it has rooted itself into that community. I think that they finally really dug themselves in with that Super Bowl win, and I think if they suck for multiple years, will they continue to come? But I think this year, just 1 year after using Russ, I think they'll still get the 12th man to show up.
Okay. I think they're tanking. So
I wouldn't be surprised because, I mean, again, look at the quarterback draft that's coming up. That wouldn't
I think they want a good
me at all.
quarterback. I think they've got – I mean, they didn't trade DK for a reason.
Right.
They want to put somebody under center that can get him the ball. But,
I think so too.
Standings from 4th to 1st, Seahawks, Cardinals, Niners, Rams. I think we're in agreement there.
So, I'm sorry, you have the Rams winning the division?
Yes.
We are not in agreement.
You have the Niners?
This is where things get – I have the Niners winning the division, and this is going to show you the differentiation between previous and now. I have the Niners winning the division at 11-6. I have the Rams and the Cardinals tied at 8-9, and then the Seahawks at 6-11 at the bottom of the division.
Is this because you think Stafford's missing time? Because at the top of the show, exactly. You said, quote, I have the Rams number 1 in my power rankings, but you have them with a losing record.
But I have a feeling that Stafford's going to miss an extended period of time, and I think it's going to hurt them in the final standings. I think
if he misses an extended period of time, they're not going to win the division. The Niners will, but
yes,
I'm going.
And that's what I feel is going to happen.
I'm going based off. I don't think you will.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be one of those lingering things, and I think the rest of the roster is so good that it can overshadow if it's just a lingering injury he plays through. If he misses a few games, maybe they drop and maybe they fight for a wild card spot. I don't see them with a losing record unless Stafford misses like 10 games.
Yeah, I'm seeing him missing at least 5 to 6 games in total with that, and that's what's going to cost them and allow the Niners to get a win against them and also eke out a 2-win division lead. Okay, and that's where they're going to end. So for you, it's the Rams winning the NFC West and the Chargers winning the AFC West, and for me, it is the Broncos and the Niners winning each division. And for me, I have both the Broncos and Chiefs most likely in the playoffs, with the Niners as the only team from the NFC West making it. And I think with you, it'd be the same Broncos, Chiefs, and Rams. Am I right?
No. Most likely, I would go.
Sorry, Chargers, Broncos, and Rams. I apologize.
But Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos. But
Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos.
Okay. Chargers and Chiefs make the playoffs. Niners likely make the playoffs. Rams, I think, make the playoffs as long as Stafford doesn't miss it. It's so dependent on that. I don't know.
Yeah, so very dependent. Yeah, we essentially have either way. Like if Stafford stays healthy, the division shakes out, I think, your way. If he doesn't stay healthy and he misses an extended period of time, the division comes out my way. So I think we have both ends covered, and we'll see which one happens.
Yeah, and with the AFC West, I have no fucking clue. So who knows?
Well, this is definitely. We still get our PG-13. We only used one F word. So.
I know. I saved it for the end.
The very end. Very good job, my friend. The best producers always wait. And we have a question here real quick. I think we already answered it. What teams in the West do you think will be good, not good enough, and will miss the playoffs this year? And for both
whatever
of us,
team doesn't make the playoffs from the AFC West.
Whatever team, yeah. Essentially, I think it's going to be the Chargers that are good but not good enough. In the AFC West, the Raiders are going to be the bottom of the division. For the NFC West, I believe that the Rams and the Cardinals are just not good enough. That the Niners are going to sneak in. Quinn believes that the Rams are good enough, but the Niners are going to be just eked out. And that's on the NFC West. And then the AFC West, he believes the Chargers and the Chiefs are going to go, and the Broncos and the Raiders are going to be just edged out when it comes to
and the Saints win the Super Bowl.
And the Saints win the Super Bowl. So we already given the Super Bowl predictions. I was going to wait for the end, but he's going to stay. He's going to do it in the first episode.
I'm joking. I'm not that much of a homer.
He's lying.
Also, I hate the both of my division. We'll see. A little bit of a tease there. I hate the both of my division winners are LA teams. I feel like I have made my city like roll over. It's so sad.
You might have, but hey, that's all right. That's what we're here for. Yeah, hey, we just keep it real. We don't do the bias. We just keep it as real as possible. You can say my division winner's biased, but I think I gave a pretty good explanation of why I believe it's going to be. But that is what it is. These are our predictions for all of the NFC and AFC West. Let us know yours. Let us know if you think we're crazy, if you think we're out of our minds, or if you agree, because I'm sure all of you are going to agree with everything that we said today. Go ahead down in the comments.
With everything I've said today.
Right. But you got our socials down there. As always, make sure you click on them, hit the likes, the follows, the subscribes, the bells, all of the red buttons, launch the nukes, clear the way so we can pave you a path of true newsdom and get you the reality of what is going on in the world here at The Answer is 42 and the West is Best podcast. I am Dan Wetstein. That's Quinn Thomas. And as always, don't question the blue.